Bangkok, 1972. The underground fight club was hidden beneath a warehouse in the old district. Cigarette smoke hung thick in the air as hundreds of spectators pressed against rope barriers, their voices creating a wall of sound that shook the corrugated metal ceiling. In one corner stood Somchai, the Iron Knee Preserved, Thailand's undefeated Muay Thai champion. 6 foot 2 inches of pure muscle, with 47 consecutive victories, and a reputation for ending fights in under 2 minutes. His knees had shattered ribs, broken arms, and sent countless opponents to the hospital. In the opposite corner, a smaller man stretched quietly. Bruce Lee, 5'7", 140 pounds. Hollywood's rising martial arts star who most Thai fighters considered nothing more than a movie actor playing pretend. Somchai looked across the makeshift ring and laughed. A deep mocking sound that made the crowd roar with anticipation. "You dance pretty for cameras, little man," he called out in broken English. "But here you learn what real fighting means." Bruce Lee said nothing. He simply removed his shirt, revealing muscles that moved like water beneath skin, and took his fighting stance. What happened in the next 20 minutes would remain hidden for decades. A fight so brutal, so unexpected, that witnesses would be sworn to secrecy. But today the truth finally comes out. Before we reveal what happened in that warehouse, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss incredible stories like this. Now let's dive into how this impossible fight came to be. Bruce Lee wasn't supposed to be in Thailand at all. He was in Hong Kong filming Way of the Dragon, when he received an unusual challenge through underground martial arts channels. The message was simple but insulting. Hollywood Kung Fu is fake. Come to Bangkok and prove otherwise if you dare. The challenge came from the Golden Triangle Fight Association, an exclusive group of Muay Thai masters who controlled underground fighting circuits throughout Southeast Asia. They'd been watching Bruce Lee's movies with growing irritation. To them, his flashy kicks and philosophical speeches were an insult to real martial arts. Somchai Preserved was their champion. Born in a small village outside Chiang Mai, he'd been training in Muay Thai since he was 5 years old. His father was a legendary fighter, his grandfather before him. Fighting wasn't just in his blood, it was his family's legacy, their honor, their entire identity. By age 25, Somchai had never lost a fight. Not in the ring, not in the streets, not in the brutal underground matches where rules didn't exist. His signature move, a jumping knee strike called Cow Loi, had ended careers. Medical records showed he'd fractured 7 skulls, broken 19 ribs, and permanently disabled 4 opponents. The Thai newspapers called him the Iron Knee. Gamblers bet fortunes on how quickly he'd finish opponents. Other fighters avoided him entirely, choosing career preservation over pride. Bruce Lee, by contrast, was dismissed as a performer. Yes, he'd studied Wing Chun under Ip Man. Yes, he'd developed his own style called Jeet Kune Do. But to traditional fighters like Somchai, Bruce Lee was just a dancer with good choreography and clever camera angles. "He's never been in a real fight," Somchai told reporters at a Bangkok gym. "I've studied his movies. Everything is acting. His punches stop before they land. His kicks are beautiful but weak. I will show Thailand what happens when Hollywood meets reality." The underground fight world buzzed with anticipation. Word spread through gyms, training camps, and fighting circles across Asia. Tickets for the secret match sold for outrageous prices. Thai gangsters, Chinese businessmen, and martial arts masters from 5 countries bought their way into the warehouse. The betting was heavily one-sided. Somchai was a 50-1 favorite. Nobody gave Bruce Lee any chance of surviving beyond the first round. Some compassionate bettors even wagered on whether he'd leave on a stretcher or in a body bag. But what the betting public didn't know was Bruce Lee's real background. Before Hollywood, before fame, he'd spent years fighting in the streets of Hong Kong and San Francisco. The underground matches in Oakland's Chinatown, the rooftop fights where gang disputes were settled, the brutal sparring sessions with world-class fighters who visited his Los Angeles studio. None of this appeared in movie magazines. Bruce Lee had been training specifically for real combat his entire life. His speed was documented at punching 14 times per second. His 1-inch punch could send a 200-pound man flying backward 6 feet. His philosophy of using no way as way meant he adapted to any opponent, any style, any circumstance. The warehouse in Bangkok was chosen for secrecy. No officials, no regulations, no way to stop the fight once it started. The ring was just a marked square on concrete floors. No padding, no ropes, no referee. Just two men and one simple rule. The fight ends when someone can't continue. As the crowd gathered that humid evening, tension filled the air like electricity before a storm. Thai fighters had come to watch their champion destroy the Hollywood pretender. Chinese martial artists had come hoping to see their countrymen defend their honor. Gamblers came to collect winnings they considered guaranteed. Somchai entered first, his body gleaming with traditional Thai oil that made his muscles look carved from teak wood. He performed the Y Crew Ram Muay, the ritual dance fighters perform before battle, with aggressive power, his movements telling the story of warriors who never surrender. When Bruce Lee entered, the crowd's reaction was mixed. Some laughed at his smaller size. Others fell silent, noticing something in his eyes that contradicted his Hollywood image. He wasn't acting now. This was something different, something dangerous. The two fighters met in the center of the marked square. Somchai towered over Bruce Lee, his thick legs like tree trunks, his arms heavy with power earned through decades of conditioning. He smiled down at his opponent with the confidence of someone who'd never experienced defeat. "Last chance to walk away, movie star," Somchai whispered. "I don't want to end your career before it truly begins." Bruce Lee's response was quiet but clear. "I didn't come here to walk away." The timekeeper rang a rusted bell, and the fight that would become legend began. The first 30 seconds set the tone for everything that followed. Somchai came forward like a freight train, his lead leg checking for distance, his hands high in the traditional Muay Thai guard. His experience told him to test this Hollywood fighter, see how he reacted to pressure. Bruce Lee circled to the right, his stance looking nothing like traditional kung fu. His hands were low, his body positioned at angles that seemed to violate classical martial arts principles. To the Thai masters watching, it looked sloppy, unorthodox, wrong. Somchai struck first. A low kick that whistled through the humid air, aimed at Bruce Lee's lead leg with bone-breaking force. In Muay Thai, leg kicks were designed to destroy an opponent's mobility, to remove their ability to move and defend. The kick connected with a sound like a baseball bat hitting meat. The crowd gasped, anticipating Bruce Lee would crumble from the impact. That single kick had more power than most fighters could generate with their fists. But Bruce Lee didn't fall. He didn't even step back. His leg absorbed the impact with a conditioning that shocked every Thai fighter present. He'd been preparing for exactly this kind of attack, strengthening his shins and thighs through years of training that Hollywood never filmed. Somchai's smile faded slightly. That kick should have ended mobility. Instead, Bruce Lee stood firm, his expression unchanged, waiting. The Thai champion threw another low kick, even harder this time. Then another. Each impact echoed through the warehouse like thunder. The audience counted 3 kicks for 5, each one powerful enough to break a normal man's leg. Bruce Lee's lead leg began to swell and turn red, the skin breaking in places where bone met bone. Blood trickled down to his ankle, mixing with sweat and dirt from the warehouse floor. But he didn't retreat, didn't show pain, didn't give Somchai the satisfaction of acknowledgement. "Why won't you fall?" Somchai muttered in Thai, frustration creeping into his voice. The pattern continued for 3 brutal minutes. Somchai would attack with devastating low kicks, middle kicks, knees when he closed distance. Bruce Lee would absorb the damage, moving just enough to reduce impact, using footwork that didn't look impressive but kept him in the fight. To spectators, it appeared one-sided. Somchai was landing strikes that should end the match. Bruce Lee seemed to be merely surviving, taking punishment without offering meaningful offense. Thai gamblers began counting their winnings. This would be over soon. But martial arts masters in the crowd noticed something different. Every exchange gave Bruce Lee information. Every attack Somchai threw was being studied, analyzed, cataloged. The Hollywood actor was taking damage, yes, but he was also learning his opponent with scientific precision. At the 4-minute mark, Bruce Lee finally countered. As Somchai threw another power kick, Bruce Lee stepped into it, accepting the impact but getting close enough to deliver a lightning-fast jab to Somchai's jaw. It wasn't powerful, more of a rangefinder than a finishing blow, but it was fast. Faster than anything Somchai had experienced. The Thai champion blinked, momentarily stunned not by the power but by the speed. He'd never been hit by anything that quick. It was like being struck by thought itself, something that existed between the intention and the action. Somchai responded with anger. He launched a spinning elbow strike, the sock clap fan, a technique that had knocked out 17 previous opponents. The elbow came around like a scythe designed to cut through defenses and crush skulls. Bruce Lee ducked beneath it with millimeters to spare. The elbow whistled over his head, close enough that he felt the air displacement. In that moment, while Somchai was rotating and temporarily off balance, Bruce Lee struck. 3 punches landed in under a second. 1 to the floating ribs, 1 to the solar plexus, 1 to the jaw. Each punch was thrown with the entire body behind it, utilizing the kinetic chain principle that Bruce Lee had spent years perfecting. Somchai stumbled backward for the first time in his career. The crowd fell silent. Nobody had ever made the iron knee retreat. Not in 47 professional fights. Not in countless underground matches. Never. The Thai champion touched his jaw, tasting blood from a cut inside his mouth. His eyes changed from confident to dangerous. The playful superiority was gone, replaced by something darker. This wasn't going according to script. You want to fight for real? Somchai said, switching to English so his opponent would understand. Now I stopped playing. What followed was a demonstration of Muay Thai brutality that made spectators gasp. Somchai abandoned all defensive responsibility and attacked with combinations designed to end fights permanently. High kicks to the head, elbow strikes from 8 different angles, knee attacks that could rupture internal organs. Bruce Lee couldn't block everything. A kick caught him in the ribs and everyone heard bones crack. An elbow opened a cut above his eye, blood flowing into his vision. A knee strike to his thigh left him limping, his mobility compromised. But instead of collapsing, Bruce Lee adapted. He started using what would later be recognized as elements from multiple martial arts. Boxing footwork to evade, Wing Chun trapping to control Somchai's arms, grappling to smother the Thai fighter's power kicks. The 8th minute was the turning point. Somchai launched his signature jumping knee strike, the technique that had ended so many fights. He left the ground with explosive power, his knee aimed at Bruce Lee's face with enough force to shatter everything from nose to brainstem. Time seemed to slow down. The crowd rose to their feet. Cameras captured what would become the most analyzed moment in underground fighting history. Bruce Lee didn't try to block the knee. Instead, he used Somchai's airborne position against him. He stepped slightly left, letting the knee pass within an inch of his face, then grabbed Somchai's ankle while the champion was still in midair. With a twist that demonstrated perfect timing and leverage, Bruce Lee redirected Somchai's momentum. The Thai champion, who'd launched himself into the air with maximum force, suddenly found himself with no control over his trajectory. He crashed to the concrete floor with devastating impact, his shoulder taking the brunt of the fall. The warehouse erupted in chaos. Half the crowd was shouting in disbelief. The other half was demanding Somchai get up, continue fighting, prove this was just a momentary setback. But the Thai champion was hurt. His right shoulder had partially dislocated from the fall. His legendary conditioning couldn't prevent basic physics. A 200-pound man hitting concrete from 6 feet in the air meant injury regardless of training. Somchai pushed himself up with his left arm, his right hanging at a wrong angle. His face showed something unfamiliar. Uncertainty. For the first time in his fighting career, he questioned whether he could win. The injured shoulder changed everything. Somchai's most powerful weapons, his right cross, his spinning elbow, his grappling control, were suddenly compromised. Every martial artist knows that fighting with one arm is like fighting with one eye closed. Possible but drastically disadvantaged. Bruce Lee saw the injury but didn't press his advantage immediately. He circled, breathing heavily, his own injuries demanding attention. The broken rib made deep breathing agony. The cut above his eye needed medical attention. His leg was severely bruised from those early low kicks, but his mind was clear. This was no longer about pride or proving Hollywood Kung Fu was legitimate. This had become a test of pure survival, of whether his lifetime of training could defeat a champion fighting on home territory. Somchai charged forward with desperate aggression. If he couldn't use technical skill anymore, he'd rely on pure toughness, the quality that separated Thai fighters from everyone else. He threw left hooks, left elbows, left knees, each strike powered by frustration and pain and the horrible realization that he might actually lose. Bruce Lee's strategy shifted from survival to control. He used his speed advantage, landing combinations that accumulated damage like compound interest. A jab to keep distance. A cross to the body. A low kick to the damaged lead leg. Nothing spectacular. Nothing movie-worthy. Just efficient violence that slowly dismantled his opponent. The 12th minute brought the moment that sealed Somchai's fate. Frustrated by Bruce Lee's elusive movement, the Thai champion planted his feet and threw a wild left hook with everything he had remaining. It was a desperation technique, sacrificing defense for one last chance at knockout power. Bruce Lee had been waiting for exactly this mistake. As the hook came around, he performed the straight blast. A Wing Chun technique where multiple punches are thrown in rapid succession down the center line. 8 punches landed in under 2 seconds, all targeting Somchai's already damaged jaw and temple. The Thai champion's legs gave out. Not from knockout power, although the punches were devastating, but from accumulated damage to his nervous system. His brain had absorbed too much trauma, and his body finally shut down its higher functions to prevent permanent injury. Somchai collapsed to his knees, then forward onto his hands. Blood dripped from his mouth, mixing with sweat on the concrete floor. He tried to stand, his warrior's pride demanding he continue, but his body refused commands. His arms trembled, his vision blurred. His legendary conditioning had reached its limit. The crowd fell into stunned silence. This was impossible. Somchai the Iron Knee Berserk didn't lose. He didn't kneel before opponents. He didn't show weakness. Yet here he was, defeated on his home territory by a Hollywood actor everyone had dismissed as a pretender. Bruce Lee stepped back, waiting to see if Somchai would rise. There was no showboating, no victory celebration, just respectful distance while his opponent processed defeat. Blood covered both fighters. The concrete floor looked like a crime scene. The air smelled of sweat, blood, and the cigarette smoke that had never stopped circling above them. Slowly, with immense effort, Somchai lifted his head. His eyes met Bruce Lee's across 5 feet of blood-stained concrete. In that moment, something passed between them. A recognition that transcended language, culture, and fighting styles. You are a real fighter, Somchai said in broken English, his voice barely above a whisper. Not Hollywood. Real. Bruce Lee nodded, extending his hand to help his opponent stand. It was a gesture of respect that the Thai masters watching would remember for decades. In victory, he showed the humility that separates true martial artists from mere brawlers. Somchai accepted the hand, allowing himself to be pulled upright. He stood there, swaying slightly, his injured shoulder hanging at an odd angle, his face swelling from accumulated punches. Then he did something that shocked everyone present. He pressed his palms together in the traditional Thai Y gesture and bowed deeply to Bruce Lee. In Thai culture, this was the highest form of respect, acknowledging not just defeat but the superior skill and character of one's opponent. The warehouse erupted. Thai fighters were shouting in disbelief. Chinese spectators were celebrating wildly. Gamblers who'd lost fortunes were tearing up betting slips in frustration. The underground fighting world had just witnessed something unprecedented. Their undefeated champion acknowledging complete defeat to an outsider. The Golden Triangle Fight Association elders, who'd organized this match to humiliate Bruce Lee, found themselves in an impossible position. Their plan had backfired spectacularly. Instead of proving Hollywood Kung Fu was fake, they'd proven that Bruce Lee was perhaps the most legitimate fighter alive. But there was a problem. This fight couldn't become public. The consequences would be too severe, for Thai fighting pride, for underground gambling operations, for the carefully maintained image that Muay Thai fighters were unbeatable in real combat. Within hours, witnesses were approached by association representatives. Offers were made. Threats were implied. The message was clear. This fight never happened. Bruce Lee never came. To Bangkok. Somchai Berserk never lost. The warehouse match was a dream, a rumor, a story that couldn't be proven. Photographs were confiscated. Film cameras had their reels destroyed. Anyone who'd recorded the fight had their equipment seized or purchased at prices that made resistance pointless. The few witnesses who tried to talk publicly found themselves facing legal problems or worse. For decades, the fight remained an urban legend in martial arts circles. Old fighters would whisper about it in training gyms. Journalists would investigate but find no concrete evidence. Even Bruce Lee himself never publicly discussed what happened in that Bangkok warehouse. 3 months after the secret fight, Bruce Lee sat in his Hong Kong studio with a group of students. His ribs had healed, though they still ached in humid weather. The scar above his eye had faded to a thin white line. His leg no longer showed the bruising from Somchai's devastating low kicks. One student, a young American named Dan Inosanto, asked about the rumors circulating in fighting circles. "Sifu, is it true you fought a Muay Thai champion in Thailand? People are saying." Bruce Lee interrupted with a slight smile. "What matters isn't what happened in one fight. What matters is understanding that real martial arts isn't about styles or countries or pride. It's about truth in combat." He stood up, demonstrating principles he'd learned from that brutal encounter. Traditional martial artists think their style is the answer. They train in forms that look beautiful but become useless in real fighting. That Thai champion was powerful, skilled, dangerous, but he was also limited by his tradition. "So you won because your style was better?" another student asked. "No," Bruce Lee corrected firmly. "I survived because I had no style. I adapted. When he kicked low, I conditioned my legs to absorb. When he used power, I used speed. When he showed patterns, I found the gaps between patterns. That's Jeet Kune Do. Using no way as way, having no limitation as limitation." The lesson went deeper than fighting techniques. Bruce Lee explained that the Bangkok match had taught him about ego, respect, and the difference between performance and reality. "In movies, I play a character who never struggles, who defeats enemies easily. But in that warehouse, I was just a man fighting another man. I was hurt. I was scared. I questioned whether I would survive." He paused, looking at each student with intensity. "That's the truth of combat that forms and demonstrations never teach. It's messy. It's painful. Tests everything you believe about yourself. The champion I fought deserves respect because he stepped into that ring accepting the possibility of defeat. Most people never test themselves that honestly." Years later, after Bruce Lee's tragic death in 1973, the truth about the Bangkok fight began emerging slowly. Somchai Prasert, now retired from fighting and working as a trainer, finally spoke publicly about the match during a 1985 interview with the Thai martial arts magazine. "I was undefeated champion," Somchai said, his English much improved. "I thought I could not lose. I thought this Hollywood man was just actor. But he taught me that real mastery has no nationality, no single style. He was water, formless, shapeless. I was ice hard but inflexible. Water always wins eventually." The interviewer asked if losing to Bruce Lee had destroyed his confidence. Somchai shook his head. "It freed me. I stopped believing I was invincible. I started learning from other styles, other fighters. That loss made me better teacher than victory ever could." He pulled out a photograph from 1972, one of the few that survived the post-fight suppression. It showed Bruce Lee and Somchai standing together after the match, both bloodied and bruised, both smiling despite their injuries. "This picture is my treasure," Somchai said. "It reminds me that honorable defeat teaches more than easy victory." The Bangkok fight revealed fundamental truths that transcended martial arts. It showed that credentials and reputation matter less than actual ability. That size and power can be overcome by speed and intelligence. That tradition, while valuable, can also be limitation if followed blindly. Most importantly, it demonstrated that respect must be earned through action, not assumed through titles or appearances. The Thai masters who'd organized the fight expecting easy victory learned humility. The Chinese spectators who doubted their countrymen learned faith. Everyone present learned that true martial arts exists in the space between styles, where adaptation and truth matter more than forms and tradition. For modern viewers, this story offers lessons that extend beyond fighting. In your workplace, have you ever dismissed someone because of their appearance or background, only to discover they possessed unexpected expertise? Have you relied so heavily on traditional methods that you missed innovative solutions? Have you let pride prevent you from acknowledging when someone else had the better approach? Bruce Lee's victory wasn't about proving Hollywood Kung Fu was real. It was about demonstrating that excellence recognizes no boundaries. Not national, not traditional, not stylistic. The warehouse fight in Bangkok remains significant not because of who won, but because of what everyone learned. If this story of respect, humility, and hidden truth inspired you, smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell. Share your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever witnessed someone defy everyone's expectations? Your story might become our next video. And before you go, watch our video about the time Muhammad Ali secretly visited Bruce Lee's studio. The footage that emerged will blow your mind. Thanks for watching, and remember, real mastery isn't about claiming superiority. It's about constant growth and respect for anyone willing to test themselves honestly. Note: while Bruce Lee did travel throughout Asia and engaged in various martial arts demonstrations and private challenges, the specific details of any particular underground fight remain unverified. This narrative is constructed for entertainment purposes while honoring the philosophical principles Bruce Lee actually taught about martial arts, respect, and continuous learning.